Of course, the big news of the day, Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska to meet with President Donald Trump.
President Trump says this will most likely be a feel-out meeting between the two. Joining us now, the former ambassador to Ukraine, Kurt Volker. Really good to have you back with us. Thanks so much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
So just as a little bit of background before we get into all of the nitty-gritty, tell people what you've done, because it's kind of impressive and it puts all this into context.
Well, I was U.S. ambassador to NATO at the end of the Bush administration and early Obama. I founded the McCain Institute and worked closely with John McCain for many years. And I then was special representative for Ukraine negotiations in the first Trump administration. And more recently, I founded the American University in Kyiv, along with some partners, and working with Arizona State University on that. That's to name a couple things, but that's what we've been up to. And I've been very involved with supporting free people in Central and Eastern Europe and in Ukraine, including with NATO enlargement from the 2000s and even the late 90s, and supporting Ukraine's efforts to recover its sovereignty and independence and territorial integrity.
Talk about today's meeting. A lot at stake here. I'm curious to know, is there anything that you could say that will make this meeting a success? What are you looking for that'll allow you to say, you know what, this is a good outcome today?
Well, look, I think expectations need to be pretty low here. There is zero indication that Russia is prepared to end the war or agree to a ceasefire or get away from their maximalist demands. Even this past week, they said that they want to keep all of the territory that they have seized from Ukraine. They want Ukraine to withdraw from other territory that they haven't seized. And they want to demilitarize Ukraine, change the government, guarantee that there'll be a neutral country, no military forces. It's just an outrageous set of demands on a sovereign country. So it's completely unacceptable to the Ukrainians. And Russia has given no indication that it is going to change that. Indeed, it was amusing watching your correspondent just now, because he said that the goal of the administration is to see how serious Russia is about making peace. All you had to do is look at Lavrov's sweatshirt. It said CCCP, the Cyrillic letters for USSR. That's the message Russia's sending.
Because we all know that Vladimir Putin has talked about wanting to reconstitute the Soviet Union and have an empire again. But Ukraine has other stuff.
Yeah, the Russian Empire.
Yeah. But Ukraine also has gas, it has grain, it has oil. So is it also a little bit about resources for him?
No, Russia is a huge, huge country, 28 times the size of Ukraine. They've got vast natural resources, gas, oil, minerals, you name it. They don't need Ukraine for any economic purpose. Putin wants it because he wants to go down in history as the guy who rebuilt the Russian Empire.
Oh, can you give us a sense of the man that will be sitting across from President Trump today? Do you know what he is sort of like in these sort of high stakes one-on-one, where he has the leader of the United States sitting in front of him and he has his ear?
Yeah, well, he is incredibly skillful, well-trained, and smart. He knows what he's trying to do. He wants to deflect President Trump away from the issue at hand. The issue is whether Russia will stop its war on Ukraine. And he's going to dangle business deals, rare earth minerals. He'll ask for a lifting of sanctions. He'll talk about nuclear weapons, maybe some new nuclear arms deal. He's going to throw out all kinds of things that might be appealing to President Trump to avoid discussing what President Trump wants to talk about, which is ending the war.
So talk about briefly what the situation is for Ukraine and what the situation is for Europe, what they both have on the line here.
Right. Well, imagine if someone were to attack the United States, take California and Texas, and then say, okay, we'll end the war if you give us Arizona and New Mexico as well. That's the situation Ukraine is in. And they are fighting back as Americans would, and they're fighting back very, very well. They have pushed the Russians out of over half of the territory that they conquered in the first days of the war. But now it's been very hard to hold the front line, and Russia occupies about 20% of the territory right now. Uh, Ukraine is about a third of the population of Russia, so manpower is an issue. But Ukraine has done a great job with innovative technology and drones and a lot of Western support. So they're actually in a pretty good position. Russia is just running on fumes. They are sanctioned. They have a hard time selling their oil and gas abroad. They have reduced income from that as a result. They're digging into their foreign exchange reserves. If they keep this up for another 6 months, Russia's going to start having a cash crunch as well as a manpower crunch of their own because they're burning through their soldiers at an unprecedented rate.
One final question. Hypothetically speaking, let's say you're in Alaska and you're the last person President Trump sees before he heads into that room to sit down with Vladimir Putin. What do you tell him?
Well, number one, stay focused and on getting a ceasefire. Don't get distracted by all the rabbit holes that Putin is going to throw out there. And remember that Putin only responds to pressure and force. If he feels comfortable, he's going to continue the war. So we need to be willing to turn the screws if he doesn't actually create a ceasefire right now.
Mr. Kurt Volker, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.